guys, it's Ali and Soto here again. We are going to go over the most common mistakes or corrections we need to make for yoga first and then for boxing. So it's not a mistake if you modify it or change it because it doesn't feel right in your body, but if your alignment's off and we can correct it, that's what we're going with. The bags are all swinging. It looks like there's a ghost. It's a little creepy. Anyway, so as a yoga instructor, the most common one I see is down dog and chaturanga. We went over down dog our last thing, so I think chaturanga, yeah, if you want to go horizontal. So the most common thing with chaturanga is people go below 90 degrees. So if you want to go into regular chaturanga, so perfect. You're actually going to come back up. So the correct way, you want to shift about an inch forward and then elbows right scraping even tighter. That's perfect. So that's a proper 90 degrees. Come on up. That was nice. So if you sink lower than that, especially when people modify and do it on their knees, it's gonna hurt your front deltoids. So yeah, exactly. So when people go on their knees, they go lower. I think pigeon is really common. Do you know pigeon? Perfect. Really flexible hips. So he actually would need a correction. The most important variation, let me move this so you guys can actually see him, is that your hips are square. And so you want to take your right hip and do it the wrong way, go all the way down. So yeah, people usually don't do it that much, but what they want to do is they want both their hips on the ground. You can actually pat it, do a yoga block or a blanket to benefit from the stretch. They need to be square. So if you have space, that's cool. It's better to have space than the toe. So forward fold. Yeah, so most people when they come down, round their spine. So this is sitting or standing. So they really want to touch their knees to their nose, so they're going to crank their body. I would rather a straight back and not as far. It's not about touching your toes or putting your knee on your nose. It's about getting the benefit of the stretch. So this is correct format, and then round, this is what people do. So to get lower, you don't need this. You would come up higher, straight in the back. So I would prefer this, then lower. Oh, warrior two. Do you know warrior two?
Awesome.
Oh, he's doing a full sensitization to it.
The other one. And then this is one.
Yep.
And then two.
Mm-hmm. Two, you kind of spin out. So, perfect. His shoulders are over his hips. Most people reach, so go forward. Yeah, they're leaning forward. You don't need to do that. So, knowing your shoulders are directly over your hips, a lot of people scrunch their shoulders too. So they're like this in warrior two, and also in chair I see it, so people kind of scrunch up. Make your long neck in every yoga pose and you'll be doing it correctly. The other thing too is I'm okay with the knee going over ankle. I know that irritates some people, but it's okay anatomically. This is proper format, but if you go a little, but what you want to do is not cave that knee this way. So your knee is in line with your second toe. So that warrior two looks perfect. And then, oh, last one, tree pose. You know tree pose?
And now.
Okay, so it's a balance pose. What you do is you can do ankle stand, you can do your foot here, here. Most people, you're actually doing it incorrectly. Your heel should not be on the joint, so it's above or below.
Okay.
Because that foot is pushing against that knee from the side. So if you feel like you have to, is that as high you can come up to your knee, I would rather have you be lower. And then also, you want to think of your knee in alignment with your hip. Like there's two panes of glass. So most people come forward with tree. You want to go to the side. So here, above the knee, that's better as long as you're not on the joint.
Okay.
And warrior two. I think that's the most common things I see in yoga.
Okay.
So let's do boxing.
Awesome.
I'll be your demo person of yoga.
Hi, everybody. So I want to do three things really quick. I want to talk about your lead hook, not your lead hook, the lead hook. And then I want to talk about weight distribution as you're throwing your punches, okay? So, this is a super easy mistake to make. A lot of people will go to throw their lead hook, and then they won't make their elbow parallel with the ground. So what will end up happening is you get kind of like the elbow points down, but the fist kind of comes through. You see what I'm saying? So they make impact, but the elbow is way too low. So you can already see that she's already kind of fidgeting with where the elbow lines up because it doesn't feel right. Shoulder's not braced, and it's going to end up causing a lot of pain in the shoulder for the long term. So I just want you to remember, elbow up, turn the hip. Same time.
Turn the hip. Protect your knees.
Yeah.
Turn the hip. I see a lot of people doing this. You're going to kill your knees. Most important, turn the hip for safety.
Get that elbow up parallel. Turn the same side hip at the same time. That way your power isn't being generated by the shoulder, the little muscles of the arm, but the big muscles of the core.
I think that's a good point. I direct people to punch with their body. I learned it from you. The fist just delivers the punch. It's the entire body that really gets you there.
Yeah. Once your lead hook feels comfortable, you got to make sure that's still true on the rear side. A lot of people will end up throwing kind of low on the rear hand, so you want to make sure they're at the same level and that your elbow is parallel with your hip. You're turning the same side. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to turn you this way so you're facing that way. So I want you to throw across, right, and then let your rear foot come off the ground. This happens all the time. She's exaggerating, but
I see that. A subtle one.
you know, when your weight should stay 50-50, right? If you're gonna lean forward, you should still have both feet on the ground. You don't want to lean so far forward that you're gonna have to end up walking. That is gonna be problematic. And how are you supposed to hit your other hand? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? It's not happening. It's not happening. So just make sure your weight's pretty even.
Superman punch, so like.
Yeah, sure, but they do it on purpose. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
You know, but so again, you want your weight pretty much 50-50 the whole time. A lot of people get confused as they pivot. Should I be throwing my weight? A little bit, not too much. You don't want to throw yourself off balance. You know? Okay, so you got your hook in there, you want your elbows parallel. Then as you shift your weight, you want to make sure your body's pretty even. And then I'm just going to leave you with one last thing, guys. Super simple, we talk about it all the time. Be organized. Put your hands on your face. Make sure your feet are at the appropriate distance. It is very easy to get lost in between the combinations. So for example, you throw a jab, cross, hook, and then they go floppy, right? They relax. With that, we always know that's the moment where we gotta check ourselves. So hit your combo, organize your hands, and find your stance again. Otherwise, yeah. Train well. Don't hurt yourself.
Can I go over jabs for a second?
Sure.
Because I see a lot of this. So footwork with jab. I tell people to step into that jab, step forward. People step up to the side, but the bag should be in front of you. So you want to step. Again, that body behind that punch. If I just punch, I'm only using my arm strength, but if I step, I can deliver all my weight into that jab. Jab's not going to be as powerful as a cross, but you still want to get there with the power. So that foot step towards the bag, making contact. Toes should never really lift in boxing.
Not your toe.
No.
Heel, yeah.
So
not your
like
toe.
the back step and then the front step. Toes stay down and that's where shuffling side to side.
Yeah, guys.
That's it.
See you next week.
Bye. Hey guys, it's Ali again. So we've changed locations, obviously. I just want to incorporate a flow that has all the little corrections we made so you can kind of link it together. So just a quick one, you've got the corrections and now we can kind of break it down and see how it would apply during a class. So, Christmas tree, looking a little ghetto. I have toddlers and they found a new game with ornaments where they like to play hide and seek with them. There's more hiding and less seeking, so I'm finding interesting ornaments everywhere. Yeah, so it'll probably be different every week. That's where we're at. But to start in, Just come down to a comfortable seated position. Eyes closed, wherever you are, roll those shoulders down and back, and just sink in. Deep breath in, deep breath out. I feel like the biggest difference between stretching and yoga is centering when you come in and then when you go out versus just banging out the stretches. So just let your body settle. Keep those eyes closed. Let everything drift away, and you've just got movement and your breath. Deep breath in, deep breath out. One more just for yourself. And now what we're gonna do is just start in down dog. So we went over that correction 2 weeks ago. A lot of people really either bend deep into it to try to get a little further, where your ear should be in line with your bicep. Actually, I'll start over. The proper way is actually to be in a plank, and then toes just turn under, hips go up. That's your down dog. A lot of people try to get their heels to touch, and anatomically that might not work. It might be flexibility, or it could just be you have a million little bones in your foot. So I would rather see knees bent than straining to put your heels on. Knees bent, you're still gonna get all the benefits. So find that down dog position, and then also, just so the weight isn't in all the wrists, make sure the fingers are gripping too, and you can actually even move them a little bit, or so instead of straight hands, you'd make a V. Takes a little weight off of that. So find the down dog, that position that works for you. We're gonna walk forward to that forward fold, which we went over. So flat back versus hunch. Don't strain. Your body will get there, or maybe it won't, but it's about getting the benefit of the pose. So flat back, and a really good way to support that, if the core is tired, is to put the hands right below the knee, so you're not on the joint. You don't have to go down. You're supposed to be feeling a stretch in the posterior chain, so the top of the body is okay, whatever that looks like. So hang out in that forward fold with that flat back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we slowly rise up. Palms touch, hands come to chest. Just take a moment here and breathe. So now we inhale that up. Swan dive forward. Plant those hands. Feet can walk or gently hop back. So we're in that plank position, and we went over that chaturanga. So most people dip, but I don't want to demo. I'm not a fan of doing that to my shoulders, but 90 degrees, a lot of people dip. And you'll think you're in 90 degrees and not. So if you have a way to do this in front of a mirror, it's very, very helpful. Also, if you take a yoga block and put it on the second level, right above your chest and belly, if you want the support, and it'll actually stop you from going too low. So I would come down, and my weight could be supported by those blocks. So what you want to do is actually tilt just an inch or so forward, and then think of, it's going to sound bizarre, but the elbows or biceps spinning through. So a plank is just straightforward. Chaturanga, you really emphasize going through that. It's going to save the shoulders. So I'm in my plank position, I roll forward, I take an inch forward, and I come to 90 degrees. Now my toes go under, I can drop. Inhale, exhale, down dog. So let's just do another sun salutation and just flow through it, no breaking it down. So feet walk forward, give me that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, slow rise. Palms touch and come down. Reverse that. Plant those hands, feet can go back. Come on down, chaturanga. toes go under. Breathe as I lift up. Exhale as I go back. So from here, right leg goes back, knee comes through. I plant my foot between my hands. Now my left hand is going to, or whatever side your back foot is on, that's gonna come through and lead you to warrior two. So again, those shoulders are right over hip. My knee is in alignment with my second toe, and my hands are long, shoulders are soft. Breathe in, breathe out. Warrior two is really about finding that strength. It's a pose we just pause and stare down that middle finger till it gets blurry. Just feel how strong you are. That backhand cartwheels forward, that brings us down as my back hip rotates down, foot goes back, I'm right at my plank. So I spin forward, chaturanga, toes go under, I lift, exhale, back to down dog. Just take a couple of breaths here. Maybe just check in with that form, walk yourself good through technique. Now we have the other side. So that left leg goes back, knee comes through, I land. I'm gonna spin so I can face you. But that hand guides me through. I arrive at my warrior two. So since we have that coming up, I find a lot of people stay here. Really move. Shoulders, hips. One more deep breath. Spin that hand back. From here, foot goes back. Down dog. From down dog, I want to go into pigeon. So my back foot raises, three-legged dog, and my knee comes through just like that, but instead of my foot landing, I'm gonna bring it here. I'm gonna shift. You guys stay where you are. So bring it forward. My hips actually don't do it. I've been doing yoga a long time, and my body just doesn't have it. It actually should be knee forward, foot, so it's a 90 degrees. A lot of people can't get there, and that's okay. But what I wanted to correct was there's a space under here since I can't go in full alignment, and I can pad that space or leave it, but what I don't want to do is dump into it. I see a lot of people, you're twisting, you're compressing, it's not going to feel good. And if pigeon puts any pressure on your knee, it's just not for you, so don't worry about it. But come on down, make sure your hips are squared. This might be enough for you, or maybe you come on down a little further. Take a couple breaths here. Pigeon is one of the ones you can hang out. So if you're doing this at home, feel free to do your own practice and just really just connect and hang out here. When you're ready, you lift up out of it, back foot guides me, toes go under, and in one movement, that right leg goes through to down dog. So I lift up, push back. It's yoga, so we've got to do everything on the opposite side. Left leg goes back and comes through. My knee delivers. My hips are square. My foot comes as close to 90 degrees without pain, and I make sure my knee's soft. Inhale up, exhale, come on down. Deep breath. This is really opening up everything in that hip. So a lot of people say I have tight hips. This is a great one. I would always do pigeon at the end though. You should be a little warm up to do pigeon to just really sink. It's a deeper stretch. So hands come up, foot goes under, leg goes back, down dog. Breathe. I'm gonna walk into that forward fold again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale down. Inhale, slow rise up. Palms touch. I come to center. Just take a moment, push those thumbs into the sternum, maybe the eyes close. And we're gonna try tree. So a couple variations. Kickstand below the knee,
or above the knee here, but not on the joint. You don't want to push. So wherever that is for you, and hands, personal preference. But think of that knee in line with the hip. It's okay if it doesn't get there. It might not fully be, but you do want to actively be pushing it back. One more breath. Ooh. Just come out of that long line, dive down. Hang out and forward fold. Maybe you go a little deeper, just a little bit. Don't push as long as that back is flat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, slowly rise. Gather. Exhale, let it go. Now we have tree on the other side. So any variation that feels good. And my hips are completely different. So one side might feel different than the other, and that's okay. And if you're ever in a stretch and one side feels tighter, feel free, if this is your own practice, you're not in class, to take extra time on the side that feels tight. One more breath. I'm a little wiggly. Come on up. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale down. Full body stretch. Come on up. Right foot is going to cross as I lean to the right. This is like curved, like your banana or half moon. And then just switch sides. So I switch my legs and my hand position. And there you are, a little flow with all our corrections, but we centered in, we've got to center out. So just come on down, let the eyes close. Feel free to go to Shavasana, which is just lying on the floor. Best pose in yoga. Eyes closed, and just arrive in this moment. Be here right now, where your body's at. Not projecting into the future, that brings up anxiety. Not going into the past, that can be depression. Just be here right now. Feel yourself breathe. Deep inhale, little pause, deep exhale. Couple more breaths. See what you can let go of. Breathe in, let everything out. When you're ready, eyes softly open. I hope that helped, my friends. I would love suggestions. So if you see me at the club, or comment, or send them in, I'd love to see what you guys want next.